Of course. Counselling course. It was level 2 for 6 months, level 3 for 6 months, and then level 4 has been 2 years. The first 2 years at this campus, and the last year's been at LSBU, Elephant and Castle. I was doing psychology, and then realised you can't really get a job for that. And you had to do the counselling course. So counselling is to learn the skills to be able to sit there in a room with someone and help them with issues that they may have. Here we do, Lambeth College, we do the person-centred and psychodynamic to become a psychotherapist. So using person-centred, believing that the client has autonomy to help himself, and just psychodynamic is getting back into the past with traumas and seeing how that may have changed and altered their behaviours and relationships going forward. Helping someone recognise that can sometimes, we hope, allow them to build better relationships and change their behaviour that's more positive for the outlook of their future. And then say person-centred is a caring approach that empowers the client to be able to move at their own pace, but to build the tools necessary to help themselves going forward, rather than per se the counsellor being the person that does the work and fixes you. We don't do that. So you can work in schools as a therapist, but normally with NHS it's CBT. CBT would be level 5. To be a CBT therapist, you actually need to do is a level 7. So you'd have to go forward and do a PhD from the doctor and a master's. So this is from mainly private practice or to work in centres. So this year they've started to help students with placements. If you haven't already found your placements, I already found placements, so I didn't need to access that help. My placements were with an addiction place, Janice Solutions, Brixton, and another one was with Bereavement and Grief Matters online. I didn't find a problem getting a placement. I think if as a student you apply yourself properly, you won't find an issue getting a placement. So you have to have personal therapy whilst becoming a therapist, so training, and that helps you to be able to deal with the things you hear, the stories you hear. I think the biggest issue would be for potential students going on to do counselling is sometimes you'll hear things that in your subconscious you haven't dealt with but will resonate to your life, and that can be very difficult. But if you're following the guidelines and having your own personal therapy, you can take that as personal therapy. All placements will give you supervision if you're seeing supervision. Again, you can take that to it. End product is, or the end of the line is, you're helping people get through those difficult situations and live better lives. So for me, I feel like I've got the capacity to hold that space with someone. I don't take it home with me, and therefore I find it, my work, professional work is within those realms. So for me, 100%, it's, I think it's very rewarding when you see someone that's going through so much turmoil in their life, and they've turned to drugs, alcohol, both. They've got really destructive lives, relationships with family and friends have been destroyed. And in the time that they're sitting with you and the skills you learn by college and your studies, through your academia, you learn the skills to be able to help them develop the tools and the coping mechanisms so they don't have to turn to the drugs and the drink. And then that helps them in the long term to have better relationships and change their behaviour to a more positive outlook. The lecturers, the one thing I would say is when there's an issue, a lecturer's favourite term would be it gives you layers. And in counselling you need those layers to be able to deal with issues that are coming up in the room, because you never know what a client's going to bring you. I've had good experiences with every lecturer. I have a lot of respect for every lecture that I've had. I would happily have those lectures again. And they're definitely very knowledgeable. I think I've been able to take real gems and nuggets of wisdom from every lecturer that I've had. I mean, OP's been great. So OP's been our last lecture into the room, and the way OP's dealt with that and then continued to teach us and giving us that space to deal with that within ourselves as a group, as individuals, and with her as the tutor. I have loads of respect, most respect to go to OP, but Victoria was my first lecture for the first bit. She was great as well. One of the key things she said was, it's not the story that we pay attention to the most, it's the feelings. And I think that's one of the things that has stuck with me. When you can't resonate with someone's story, or that story irritate you, upset you, whatever it does, you can detach yourself from that because it's their story. But the feelings they feel, we all feel. So in that sense, you can resonate, connect, and have empathy to the feelings that they're feeling. I think that helped me through my early parts of it. But all the lecturers have been great. Mia was really good. I enjoyed working with Mia. Lavina Chanel was brilliant. I found she was very knowledgeable. I work as a therapeutic practitioner with domestic abuse children, as well as doing courses in placements. I'm at, as I said, Janice Solutions, so doing addictions, and then I also work with bereavement service, grief matters. So working very hard, studying very hard, but doing something I thoroughly enjoy. At my own practice, my son's a bit of a whiz on the computer, so he helped me set up my own website, got my cards printed, pens printed, so I'm up and running, ready to take on clients. I looked through BCAP's guidance and it said, as a student you can take on clients, but you must be very explicit when you're telling potential clients that you are a student. So I started up, I didn't start taking on clients because I didn't want to tell them I was a student. I didn't want to put that onto the website, so I just had the website named dormant. And when I did get calls, that's where I work. My previous career, I was very happy and I made enough money to have a nice life, but I felt it wasn't doing what I wanted to do. I come from a background where I come from the streets, in the sense of, I was in prison as a child. I was involved in a lot of violence and a lot of crime as a youngster, so I grew up like that because I didn't have the choices. Kicked out of school at 13 and never gave an opportunity to learn and study. For me to give back to youth like myself is vitally important. I know when I was younger, I never had someone like me. I was always told, become a footballer, and a lot of kids now say, why don't you be like that? So for me, it's very important to have people that look like you doing jobs that you can do. So for me, I enjoy what I do because it helps people, but also wanting to help people like me is very important to me. So, yeah.